lead with integrity. Grant us with humility as we seek your will in all that we do and say. Father, I pray for unity, compassion, and kindness throughout our community, our state, and our country. Change our hearts so that we love our neighbors as you have taught us to do. Remind us today of what truly matters as you fix our hearts and our mind on you. I pray all of these things in your heavenly name. Amen.
Amen.
Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the
To the
flag
flag
of
The
the
United States of America.
for which
to
it
the
stands,
republic
one nation, under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
liberty
and
and
justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. King. Next order is the welcome. I, of course, have done the roll call, but we appreciate any members of the public who are attending either in council or via Zoom, along with our president of our Greater Mauldin Chamber, Ms. Pat Pomeroy, I believe, is also attending via Zoom, so we appreciate her being there, and various members of the staff. So thank you. If I missed anyone, I apologize. Not able to see everyone as clearly as I probably should be. So we just appreciate you being here this evening. Proclamations and presentations, we do not have any at this time. The next order of business is the reading and approval of minutes, the city council meeting minutes of January 19th, 2021. Council, you've had those in your packet since Friday, so should have had a chance to have read over them and review. If there are any adjustments, corrections that we need to make public, please do so at this time. Otherwise, I'll ask for majority consent. Hearing none, the meetings of City Council meeting January 19, 2021 are approved by majority consent. Thank you. Next order of business will be public comment. We'll have two public comment periods on our agenda this evening. The first one is not restricted, but reserved for any item appearing on our agenda tonight. So if you wish to speak on that, you were asked to sign up as you came into the room. A couple of just basic guidelines for you, if you would, please. When your name is called, if you'll come to the front and clearly state your name and address and address your comments to me as chair. The public comment is for you to have a chance to have your voice heard by the council and myself this evening. It is not a dialogue or a question and answer session. So please go ahead and speak your comments to the subject you wish to address us in. It will be limited to 5 minutes. I'll try to keep up with time, or ask Ms. Miller if she would keep up with the time, and we'll go from there. And Ms. Miller, you should have that list. I'll allow you to go down those who are on the agenda items tonight. If you'd call their names and have them come to the podium, please.
Yes, we have 3 people who signed up to speak about the Butler Road project. The first one would be Robert Adams.
My name is Robert Adams, and I live at 907 Fargo Street. My comments concern the Butler Road proclamation that's on the docket tonight. And I think that docket says that you guys are going to approve or vote or give a recommendation to the SCDOT to go with alternate 1. And everybody has known that that alternate is probably the best way to go. But I'm against it. And the reason I'm against it is because I don't want those people to lose their homes over there. Trailers, it doesn't matter. I don't want anybody to lose their home.
Speaking to the mic. So they can hear you.
Hello, test.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Okay. I don't want anybody to lose their home, but also I'm against it because under Title VI, the Civil Rights Act, because federal money is involved, anyone that lives there can file a complaint. And the SCDOT told us at the January 14th meeting that they weren't going to touch that trailer park, specifically because of Title VI. So it's one thing to be for a proclamation, but the SCDOT is not going to do anything. Your proclamation is not going to mean anything. I think what you ought to do is issue a proclamation that you don't want to see anybody hurt and you don't want to see Bethel Road rerouted because people are going to get hurt over there. There's a way to do this to hurt nobody, and that is to leave things alone. And if they must put a stoplight on Old Mill, so what? If it slows down traffic, so what? A lot of us want traffic slowed down. Okay? Now they keep saying that they can't put a stoplight there because of stoplight spacing. That's not true. There's stoplights all over this town as close together as though the proposed intersection between Old Mill and Bethel. I can give you two examples right now. Augusta Drive and Augusta Road and where Ferris crosses. And the next street past that, the Augusta Road Ferris intersection and the street following that. There's stop lights all over this town that are close together. They do it because traffic increases, and they can do it here and not harm anyone. So I urge you, if you give this proclamation, you need to consider SCDOT is not going to touch it. It's not going to have any effect on them, but they might consider not rerouting Bethel Drive. That's what I urge you to do. Mr. Mayor, I appreciate your time and everybody's time. I hope you will consider what I'm saying. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Adams.
Sir.
The next speaker is Karen Conrad.
Yes, hi, thank you. I'm one of the two residents right now at 905 Fargo. So we're directly behind the Taylor farm. And we always understood that that area would be developed at some point. I don't see how it doesn't. But if you're putting a bicycle route, which I understand is supposed to be part of the Swamp Rabbit Trail in time, to the north side of East Butler, I'm not sure what the point really of that is. I always thought it would be along that residual strip in between Gilder Creek, the pond, our backyards. I bicycle periodically, not so much anymore, but I would rather see something attractive myself by way of, if I'm going to, if that's what we're doing is extend the Swamp Rabbit Trail, doesn't that make more sense rather than be so close to traffic on the north side of East Butler? That doesn't make too much sense to me. The other thing I'm concerned with is every time I tell people, okay, well, this is what they're doing. They're planning to infill the end of our intersection. and put a cul-de-sac there. And I know the whole CVS thing, that's a whole separate issue. But our police is here. Our fire is there. What does that do for the neighborhood in terms of adding time for emergencies, which I consider to be a fairly important issue. It's been important to us. And that's a concern. We're infilling Bethel and then sending Fargo or Bethel out this way, right? And then we're going to have a new stoplight. Those things are expensive. I've priced them. And every time I show this, people are like, well, why are they doing that when they have the culvert? They're going to redo the culvert. They're going to put different bridges in now. There's a lot of water there. It's not just the pond and Gilder Creek. There's water under. I don't know how many of you have been able to take a really close look at that. But I think it's a lot more. Of course, we know about the flooding issues. We all know about that. My question is, what kind of traffic, if we extend the road out that way and infill the Bethel-Butler intersection, and off this goes here, how heavy is the traffic going to be there now? And if we're putting a bridge, we've had sinkhole problems before in this town. Have we, do we really have that thought out well? Because that's a large body of water, frankly. My other concern is just in terms of the time we've had for public comments. I mean, today, and what a horrible day it is weather-wise right now. And with so many people sick. I work at FedEx. We just lost one of my coworkers to COVID. We've got a lot down. And we know that traffic isn't getting better in this area. It's gotten far worse. I'm glad I'm not a route driver right now, frankly. But I don't know, who do we want to be in this town? What kind of it just seems to me if we're just widening and just getting more traffic here, what happens to the small businesses here? I understand, thank goodness we've got some improvements on Main Street and it looks like more is coming, that's great. But Butler itself, is that just to be, an afterthought and just more and more traffic? That's my concern. But the public comments period, I think all things considered, we really should extend that. Some of us have to seriously look at our financial considerations here and what we all want to do. And I believe we want to get an appraisal. And there are other families who've got younger children in the neighborhood, and they're at the schools. Have I extended my time? I'm so sorry. Oh, you're good.
Yeah, if you would wrap it up,
Thank you
please.
so much anyway, but yes, extending the public comments period, I think is really essential. And I'd love to get a response back to the 2 pieces of mail I sent to Ms. Casey Jones and her compatriot in Columbia on the SCDOT. I FedExed them a few days ago. So thank you.
The last is Mike Edwards.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Conrad. Cindy, I didn't get the last name.
Edwards.
Okay, thank you.
I'm Mike Edwards. Karen's my wife. We live at 905 Fargo Street. And we need your help. Ultimately, that's what we're here for today, is to ask for some support for this thing. There's other alternatives to this whole traffic thing going on and rerouting Bethel Drive. One of them was a rotary. right there where Bethel meets Butler. Some other thoughts. I'd like to echo the thought of the Swamp Rabbit Trail being right along Gilder Creek. That would be an awesome thing right there because it would be off the traffic, you know, and I don't know, it'd be safer. There's a lot of different things that are going through my mind. You people aren't the ones that I need to give that to, but we do need some time to talk about this because they're going to wipe out 3 families and take half of my backyard. And I'm going to be sitting on my deck. We put thousands and thousands of dollars into this house, and I'm going to be looking out at the edge of the road called Bethel Drive. You know, we bought that house because of the farm. You know, there were cows there. My little boy used to go out and play with, well, he thought there were cows, there were bulls, but anyway. But that's changed, and things are changing, and that's okay. That's good. I love this. The center that's coming, man, that's awesome. Because people ask me, where's downtown Mauldin? You know? There's a little bit of it here and a little bit of it there, you know, so this is pretty good. We got some direction going on. And I know that's why you want to get this taken care of probably, right? Not you, but the DOT, whoever's in cahoots with all of that. But I like the idea of widening that a little bit, you know what I mean? But since I've been here, I sit on the back deck sometimes at night and I hear a lot of sirens and just motorcycles, and it's just happening. It's all happening around us. And it's just happening so quickly. And now they're going to tear down 3 houses in my neighborhood. Mine might be one. I have a business that I operate out of my home, and I pay taxes, and I have a business license. And so there's a lot of considerations that are on the table here for us, at least anyway, you know. So with that, I'm going to just kind of shut up. But thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, Mr. Edwards. Is that all we had signed up, Cindy?
Yes, sir, that was it.
Okay, do we have anyone via Zoom for comment? I'll take that as a no. Next item on our agenda, we report from our city administrator, Mr. Madden.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. I do not have a report this evening, but Ms. Pomeroy from the chamber is on the call and may have some information to share regarding the chamber.
Yes, hello, how are you tonight? This rainy night. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I had sent over a report. I had a vaccine earlier and I have had a very bad headache, so thought I wouldn't come in today. But at least I've had the vaccine. I'm on my way to whatever is next for COVID. But I did want to say, I think one of the most important things that the chamber needs to be doing right now is reaching out to our businesses. I know that the mayor has been doing this, and so we're going to start doing this on a weekly basis. And it doesn't matter whether you're a chamber member or not. We just want people to know we're there. We want to help you. And I think if we're all working together, we're going to get through this and prosper. And I see our businesses really improve. I don't know what we can do, but we want people to know that we're there to help them in any way possible. I'm going out on Thursday with Christina Ortez. So that should be a real fun day. And you know Christina, and we're looking so forward to meeting all of our businesses and letting them know that we're here for them. The other thing is, looking at all my notes here, we're working on our membership renewals, and what we have done with that, if a business cannot renew and they want to stay a member of the chamber, we're just going to wait until things are better for them. We can never drop a business because they cannot pay their renewal because of what's going on. So we've let everyone know that we just want to be there for them. We're working on the directory. As you know, my husband's working on the directory, but we're looking forward to having that ready by the end of May. And also we have a new website. And it is really a nice website. We have, it's been up a while, but we are improving it every day. And the most important part of that website is going to be our Welcome to Mauldin page, which we're working on even more today, just to make sure people know what all Mauldin has to offer. So when they're looking to either relocate or even start a new business, that we have everything they're looking for in the city of Mauldin. And congratulations on the new city center. I just love what you're doing, and it's really a great improvement for our city. So do you have any questions for me? So if you need anything, just call me. I'll be waiting to hear your phone call. And again, just know we are really working for our businesses. And I know we're getting a lot of new businesses in Mauldin. I'm meeting with one tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. So, but thank you all for all you do for the chamber. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. That and Council, that concludes the report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Madden. Next item on our agenda is our reports from standing committees. I'm assuming there were copies of our monthly gazette on the table for everyone to pick up if they'd like to. If there is any chairperson of the standing committee that has some information he would like to bring forward for our consideration or focus on, please speak up now. I'm not going to be able to see you, so I'll have to ask you to kind of police yourself.
Thank you, Mayor. This is Chairman Reynolds with the Finance and Policy. I just wanted to bring a couple of dates to our attention. We have the Council Goals Workshop, February 25th. So as we start moving into the budget calendar, that's an important date for city council members to put together thoughts on plans for the city as we move into the budget year. And speaking of budgets, we've got our first budget workshop is at March 11th. That's our first budget workshop for city. Is that correct, Mr. Madden?
I believe so, yes.
It's in the calendar, so that's when I'm going to be here. But so just as we start again trying to put together next year's budget, be prepared for those dates. And that's all I had to report from Finance and Policy.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. Anyone else? All right, hearing none, we'll move to unfinished business. Ms. Miller, if you would take us through ordinance 7A, second reading, please.
Yes, sir. We have two ordinances tonight for second and final reading. The first one is an ordinance to provide for the annexation of property owned by Nolan Max Cox and located at 1140 East Butler Road by the 100% petition method, and to establish a zoning classification of C1 commercial for said property.
All right, thank you, Ms. Miller. This is coming from the Building Codes Development Department, Ms. Kuzner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, I would like to make a motion to approve this annexation on second reading.
Okay, I have a motion. Is there a second? You'll have to identify who said second. I think I heard Mr. Black. Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries 7-0. Ms. Miller.
The second is an ordinance to approve an amendment to the infrastructure reimbursement agreement between the city of Mauldin and Centerpoint Land. Council is requested to consider amending the infrastructure reimbursement agreement with Centerpoint Land to extend the term of the agreement from August 24th, 2037 to December 31st, 2045.
Mayor, I move that we approve an ordinance on second reading to approve the amendment to the infrastructure reimbursement agreement between the city of
Here's, I
Mauldin
have
and
lost
Centerpoint Land
audio.
LLC. to extend the term of the agreement to December 31st, 2045, and other matters relating thereto.
Okay, I think I heard a motion from Mr. Matney. So, is there a second?
Second.
There's a second from Mr. Kraling. Is there any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries 7-0. Okay, Ms. Miller, I believe we're now to new business and standing committee rules.
Yes, sir. The first one is an amendment to the standing committee rules. City council is requested to review amending standing committee rules to allow for, among other things, committee meetings to be held in the council chambers. This is a council-initiated request, therefore staff has no recommendation.
All right, thank you, Ms. Miller. I believe this is coming from Finance and Policy Committee. So Mr. Reynolds.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the amendment for the standing committee rules that were in your packet.
Okay, I have a motion from Mr. Reynolds. Is there a second? I did not hear a second.
Second.
Up there it is. Thank you, Ms. King.
My mic was off.
I got you. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I have discussion, please.
Ms. King.
Thank you. If it would be noted, Mr. Chair, that coming out of committee, the motion was to change the standing committee rules as you stated. However, the first portion for the committee shall meet regularly monthly at Mauldin City Hall and council chambers. This came out of committee. The motion was simply to meet at Mauldin City Hall. So leaving out the council chambers, that gives committee chairs the flexibility to be able to meet upstairs or in council chambers. So I ask that we amend the motion to reflect that, please, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I have a motion to amend the reading on page 78 of committee shall meet regularly monthly at Mauldin City Hall with a strike through of the words in the council chambers. I think I heard that correctly. Is there a second?
Second.
I had a second from Mr. Reynolds. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the amendment to change the operation of the rules, the committee shall meet regularly monthly at Mauldin City Hall. All those in favor of the amendment say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the amendment passes with the strike through for the 4 words on page 78. Back to the regular motion as amended. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all
Mayor,
those.
one quick question under discussion.
Mr. Matney.
By adding the piece meeting monthly at Mauldin City Hall, will that, and maybe this is a question for the attorney, will that preclude special call meetings off-site, which we've had to do a couple of times? That's for council.
To be, is my mic on? Can you all hear me?
I got you, Mr. Dugan.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. In my view, if there is not a provision in the rules elsewhere, which I don't have before me now, that will allow off-site meetings, that should be added as an amendment. That council may establish an off-site meeting by majority vote of council with a quorum present.
Thank you, Mr. Duggan. Mayor, with that said, I'd like to offer another.
All right, I was just browsing through the rest of it because I know I do not have the copy from the Finance Committee with me. And that was in there that there was be the ability at the chair to call for a meeting at any other location, I think, but I do not see it here unless someone else is finding it and can bring it to our attention. Other than that, it will be the pleasure of the council to amend it further if they would like to.
Mayor, I would move to further amend rules to add a provision allowing for special called meetings to be held off-site.
Okay, I have a motion to amend from Mr. Madney to allow meetings to be held off-site as necessary and if called for. Is there a second?
Second.
In a second, I think that was Ms. Kuzner. Any discussion on the amendment to allow the wording change to allow for special called meetings to be held off-site? No further discussion. All those in favor of the amendment say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion to amend to allow for off-site called meetings is approved. We are back to the original motion as amended of the wording change as well as to allow for off-site meetings. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion is accepted as amended. Thank you. Ms. Reynolds, I'm sorry, Ms. Reynolds, Ms. Miller, back to you.
The next item we have is a reimbursement resolution. The council is requested to consider a resolution to express the intention of the city to be reimbursed for certain costs for certain public improvements with the proceeds of tax exempt obligation.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. I believe that is coming from Finance and Policy. Mr. Reynolds.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Madden, do I need to, within my motion, have the resolution reread? Thank you. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt a resolution with the express intent of the City Council of the City of Mauldin and South Carolina to cause the City of Mauldin, South Carolina to be reimbursed for certain costs for certain public improvements with the proceeds of tax exempt obligations.
Okay, I have a motion from Mr. Reynolds. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, I think I heard a second from Ms. Kuzner. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Reynolds?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just wanted to point out that the express purpose of this is just because the city has expended money that was put out from the bonds that were sold from Greenville County. We purchased fire trucks within our CIP. This is strictly so that when we go out for bond market in the next budget cycle to do our portion of the CIP reimbursement, that it's expressly, it's very clear to our bond council that monies will be reimbursed to the county that we've already spent for those fire trucks.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Reynolds. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion for the resolution to express the intent of the City Council of the City of Mauldin, South Carolina to cause the City of Mauldin, South Carolina to be reimbursed for certain costs for certain public improvements with the proceeds of tax exempt obligations, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries 7-0. Okay, Ms. Miller, back to you.
The next item is architectural engineering services. During the January 18th, 2020 meeting, City Council awarded the bid for renovations to the Public Works facility to Sealy Construction. The The council is requested to consider a resolution to approve a construction contract with Sealy Construction.
Okay, I believe this is coming from Public Safety. Ms. King.
Mr. Mayor, we're out of order.
Oh, we are out of order. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Let me back up.
We need to
It
pick
is
up C.
Architectural Engineering Services, but I read the wrong summary. The city council is requested to recommend approval of Stewart Cooper Newell Architects to serve as the architectural engineering
I
services.
do not have any audio.
The city council is requested to recommend approval of Stewart Cooper Newell Architects to serve as the architectural engineering services for the new fire station.
Thank you, Ms. King. Ms. Miller, I think this is coming out of Public Safety. Back to you, Ms. King.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To get you caught up, we were out of order there for a moment. So Ms. Miller had to go back and read C. She had skipped to D.
Yes.
So to get you caught up with us.
Good. Okay, so we're back to C.
We're back
Yes,
to
sir.
C. That
And
was
we're good.
Good. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. King.
Yes, sir. This came out of Public Safety Committee unanimously. So at this time, I would like to make the motion to award the bid to Stewart Cooper Newell Architects to serve as the architectural engineering services for the new fire station.
Thank you, Ms. King. Is there a second?
Second.
I heard a second from Mr. Matney. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion to award the contract to Stewart Cooper Newell for the fire station, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries 7-0. Now back to you, Ms. Miller, on D.
Now we're at the resolution to approve the construction contract. During the January 18th, 2021 meeting, City Council awarded the bid for renovations to the Public Works facility to Sealy Construction. Council is requested to consider a resolution to approve a construction contract with Sealy Construction.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Miller. This will be coming from Public Works. Mr. Crayland.
Yes. At this time, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a resolution, to request approval of a construction contract with Sealy Construction.
Okay, I have a motion from Mr. Crayland to approve the resolution to appoint Sealy Construction as the construction manager of our Public Works Department project, I believe is the way I understand that. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, that was Mr. Matney.
Mr. Black.
Mr. Black, I got it. Okay, thank you, Mr. Black. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the resolution to approve the construction contract award, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the resolution to approve is approved. Okay, next item on our agenda comes before us as committee of the whole and the informal method. What's the pleasure of council?
Move that we consider this via the informal method.
Okay, I have a motion from Mr. Matney to consider this item via the informal method as committee at whole. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second from Ms. King. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, like sign. Hearing none, we're now serving as committee of the whole via the informal method to consider a motion of support of a resolution. That's since it's dealing with a roadway, I would ask that that be considered by Public Works. Mr. Crayland, would you take it?
Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. At this time, you're asking me for a motion, correct, sir?
Yep. Yes, sir, if you would
This
like
time, I'd
to.
like to make a motion that the city council as a whole, I'd like to that we make a resolution that for the intersection of Bethel Drive and Old Miller Road, that we prefer the alternate one design for the improvement project on East Butler Road.
Thank you, Mr. Craven. Is there a second? Okay, I had a second from Mr. Black. Is there any discussion?
I have a question.
Ms. Kuznar, if you could, I think I heard your voice. If you could speak
Yes,
to the
thank you,
mic.
Mr. Mayor. So on the alternative one, which would take it through the mobile home part, is there a way that we may get DOT to consider a traffic circle to kind of get these two roads to not really connect, but you would connect it through the traffic circle like they seem to be doing in other parts of Greenville? I know that wasn't in any of their alternatives, but it would maybe the least disruptive, I guess, to homeowners.
Ms. Kuzner, I've asked if you would bring your mic extremely close to you. I have absolutely no audio of you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So my question was on the alternative one, is there something that maybe SCDOT would consider a traffic circle on East Butler Road that would then connect Old Mill and Bethel Road?
Okay, that was a question. I don't know if you had chosen a person to respond to it or not. Our city planner, Mr. Deerhoff, hate to put you on the spot, but would you want to speak to Ms. Kuznar's question? Or Mr. Madden?
Ms. Kuzma, that certainly can be read into the resolution if that's an action that council wants to include in the motion that was made. It could be added that DOT give consideration to traffic circles as a part of their due diligence process for designing the Old Mill and Bethel Drive, Bethel Road intersection. So if it's the pleasure of council, that can be written into the resolution. Whether or not DOT considered as an option is at the pleasure of DOT.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Mayor, Mr. Black.
Mr. Black?
I'll have to agree with some of the speakers tonight. No, I don't want to see anyone be displaced from their place of residence. But, we tried to get this done years ago, and I think 15 years ago or more, SCDOT had this alternate one as their primary path at that time. And I don't want to see anyone displaced, but the things that they're recommending is either the townhomes and blocking off Bethel where it is, running a new road through the farmland and putting in a new intersection down there. And like I say, it's going to inconvenience people no matter which way you go. I don't want to see anyone inconvenienced, but the highway department years ago had this route as their primary route. Now, why that has changed, I have no idea, but we've got to do something, and the city can only just ask for forgiveness on things because the SCDOT will overrule us on anything we've got. Since it is their road, we can speak the pleasure of the citizens and hope that they will listen to us. But sometimes the hearing aid needs a new battery. So, but like I say, I'll go along with the resolution because I think this is the least effective rather than the people on Fargo and rather than the ones over at the townhomes behind the CVS would be the least invasive to the individuals. And And I think, you know, if we could work with them, or the SCDOT could work with the people in the mobile home park, if that's the route that is finalized, then I think that we can settle that. I don't see anyone displaced, but we have no control because the SCDOT will do what they want to with it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Black. Any other discussion? Okay, let me give you some information that I'm aware of that is the discussions that have ongoing. The SCDOT went through their public involvement period, the 30 days. So they only had one public meeting where they did in person. The rest of it was via their website, where everyone had a chance to post their comments, suggestions, criticisms, or whatever. Was it too short? My opinion, yes. I think there should have been multiple in-person sites, but that was their protocol. That was their time period for getting input. The city has had ongoing discussions with them concerning the overall project. This is a long overdue project. As the resolution clearly states tonight, it's the fact that DOT has ignored the maintenance on East Butler Road for many, many years is resulting in the state in which it's in right now. Not only the state of the pavement, but the curbing, the stormwater flow, the water flow, if you will, the Gilder Creek and all that. I mean, we can go on and on with all the things that we're hoping to get addressed. As part of the GPAC committee, there was a study done in 2014, 15, and finalized in 2016 by the Tool design firm. That study was sent to DOT then, as well as here recently. It was also sent to the GPAC committee. They're aware of the alternatives and what we had asked for them. We've seen some improvements where there's less than the 5 lanes they originally wanted to come through on there. We won't get everything that we want. They won't deliver everything we feel we need. But there are discussions going on. This is not the end result yet. The resolution tonight is asking this council to stand firm behind the tool design of which we spent roughly $20,000, had a large public involvement period during that time, somewhere between, I don't know, 75, 200 people that had their input into that. So it's not like this was just suddenly sprung on everybody. No, we'll never all agree on the best way to go about this. Alternative 1 is the best solution for a parallel corridor down to parallel 276. It gives you the free flow of traffic from Forester Drive down Old Mill into Bethel Drive and then terminating Bethel Road. That is defined as a parallel corridor. That's a better alternative than what we had for years with Woodruff Road, which there was no parallel corridor. Of course, we've got North Golden Strip, we got Bethel Road, we got Miller Road. So there's various intersections, and this one shows the best potential solution, in my opinion. So I'd love to see us stay firm behind our resolution for alternative 1. I understand Mr. Adams' interpretation of what he was told in the meeting. I know exactly who the person was that would have made that statement. That is not SCDOT. I have my own opinion on the SCDOT. That's not for this forum, but they will listen to that. Secretary of Transportation, Ms. Christy Hall, is aware of our thought process. There will be meetings that have been requested with her as well as the other DOT officials, as well at the federal level. There is a process to go through that if there is a potential dislocation of a higher population of minority-based residents, there is a process to go through, and there's remediations of how to approach that. Those can be and will be explored. They are not a hard and fast no. I do know who said that. I adamantly disagree with him when he told me that, but he is a contract employee for DOT. He is not a DOT employee. So we still got a process to go through, and I would ask this council to show the support of the finance tool that was done, or the recommendation that was done in tool design in 2016, 2015, which was unanimously approved by the council back then. It is before the GPAC committee again, and they have awarded the contract, and now we're working the process. So let's stay fast, let's stay true, and see how the process works out. But I do appreciate y'all listening to me. Any other comments?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Crayley?
one comment here. I'd like to keep things kind of simple. I did ask about the traffic circle. I wish I had more technical answer to this. I was hoping somebody would. The response at the meeting, the public meeting, was that they couldn't technically, and I think I understand why, but I don't know for sure. I'd like to keep this simple, that we're for and favor of alternative number one, and that we don't dilute what we're saying here with anything else. Just keep it very simple. And then we can always address specific with DOT outside of a formal statement. So that I'd recommend that we do not deviate from this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Crayley. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, we have a motion of support for resolution to support the Bethel Drive Old Mill Road intersection alternative one design for the East Butler Road Improvement Project. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I lost audio again. I only heard my aye. Is there somebody catch me up?
I believe the vote.
It was unanimous, Mayor.
Unanimous.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Matty. I'm sorry. I lost total audio and I only heard myself. Okay, so the motion was unanimous, 7-0. The resolution passes. Okay, we are back to public comment for anyone that would like to address council on any item of concern before the city or the city needs to hear. We'll open that up. Ms. Miller, do you have anyone else?
I don't believe so. Does anybody? Mr. Adams?
Robert Adams, 907 Fargo. And this concerns alternate one. And I think it is the best way to go, but we're going to have to get some of the people in the trailer park to agree to move. And they may move for some financial incentives. I'm in contact with some of those people, and they're not opposed to moving, but they're sort of trapped. They're not rich people. They do own their trailers, though. And we only need 13 to 15 to move. And we might be able to get those people. But the DOT would have to give them a financial incentive. They would have to pay to move the trailers or relocate some to the eastern side of the trailer park. There's some old trailers over there, and I don't know that they're being lived in. We only need 15 out of 43 to do that. At the same time, I'll say, we shouldn't force anybody to move. You know, and I'll do everything I can to talk to my contacts over there, see if we could get 13 or 14 people to move. I'm not sure we can get that many. Again, I would stress we shouldn't hurt anybody. And there's a cheaper way than building that road and putting a new bridge around the backside of the Taylor property. My goodness, we could put a bridge in right on Bethel because that's where it floods all the time. You have a 36-inch culvert in there, plus two little 18 or 24-inch culverts. Even on the backside of Fargo,
the little stream that crosses over there's got 2 6-foot culverts, dual 6-foot culverts. We desperately need at least a bigger culvert on Bethel. And I'm talking about the one behind the CVS, the one that floods so much. But it would be so much cheaper and so much easier. We won't isolate the people on at Cameron Place. CVS, I don't know what they're going to think about losing 2 street access and going to 1. They couldn't like it. I'm not even sure if they know. I'm trying to contact them. But put in a second stoplight, one at Owens. Put in and leave the one at Bethel. Even simpler. Don't even put a stoplight at I said Owens, I meant Old Mill. Put one. We've lived without it for 20-something years. We can live with it again. Or make it illegal to turn left off of Owens or turn left off of East Butler to go to Old Mill. So anyway, thank you for your time and let me speak again.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Anyone else? Ms. Miller?
Mr. Mayor, Ms. Miller said no, no, sir.
Sorry, I did not
She
get a
lost her
response
mic.
on Ms. Miller that I heard anyway.
Mayor, there's no more public comment.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. I appreciate you doing that.
Thank you, Mr. Adams.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Miller. Do we have anybody via Zoom?
No, sir, we do not.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is council request.
I don't believe there are any.
Okay, thank you. I would ask for one thing, Mr. Madden, if you would you confirm with for me in the next day or so the East Butler Road corridor alternative 1 DOT's alternative 1 solution showed an impact of potentially up to 10 mobile home users. I'm hearing a number of 13 to 15, and I'm not seeing that in any of my DOT documentation. So if you would confirm that to me, I would appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Any other item before us? If not, what I hear on adjournment.
Move we adjourn.
Okay, a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Have a second from Ms. King. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned at approximately 8:05 p.m. Thank you, everyone, for attending tonight, especially bear with me during this difficult time of Zoom. And all of you, I look forward to seeing all of you soon in person. Thank you.